Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
What's up, Den? What's up? I think we're on Twitter. What's up, Facebook? We're over there too. What's up, YouTube?
Oh my gosh, where are we at? Where are we not?
Yeah, I went out on all the things this morning because I'm going to do.
We're also live on Good Morning America. Sure.
That would be one of these days. One of these days.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Good morning, David. John, you're on mute. But good morning,
John,
David. Does he know? Oh, and he's not muted. This is funny though. So yeah, good morning. We've got demo day. There's a bunch of new users, which is awesome. Yeah. So I wanted to go through some of the things that we have probably demoed already in the past, but like a long time ago, and when the show was like a little bit shittier, and now it's better. So we'll do it again.
Things will be slightly different than our normal format today.
Okay, I think I fixed the microphone issue now.
Yeah, I think so.
I turned it off for like 2
evidence
seconds.
Suggests that you figured out where the ONOFF button was. Congratulations. Good morning.
Yeah, there it is. That was a big fun corporate rant about. I'm not trying to say hi to Facebook. I want to say hi to the people watching on Facebook. Facebook doesn't need me to say hi to it. Okay.
Yeah,
First of all, Facebook isn't the thing and doesn't care about you. Okay.
You know what I'm fond of, man? On that topic, actually, is like I just like for a while I was like, and I still am like, fuck Facebook. They're a bunch of assholes. You know, Zuckerberg can Zuckerberg it, all of that. And this week. And this goes into one of the demos. This week, I'm advertising a show locally, and it's on Den, and we have a Facebook events page over there because, like, one of the things that I find it still somewhat useful for is managing events. It's like the only reason I still have an account over there.
It does seem to have like a stellar system for that, I guess.
Yeah, like I feel like they sort of nailed that, but that's it. So what I realized about myself is that I'm not above using their systems to destroy their systems. So. I started playing with that a little bit more this week, and I reminded myself, like I used to do that a lot when I was managing bands and stuff. And man, their advertising system is scary. It's like I gave them like $200, right? I was like, okay, Facebook, show me what you got.
Yeah, show me your ways.
Yeah, show me what you got. Any Rick and Morty fans out there?
I knew it was going to happen eventually.
So. Like I knew this, but I just haven't done it in a while. So I put my money in there and I was like, all right, Facebook, show me what you got. And it was like the most dystopian, like gourmet platter of any kind of demographic information that I wanted about people. It was like, do you want to specifically target these age groups, these specific sexes, maybe just people that identify as non-binary? What about what neighborhoods do you want? Would you like to talk to people? It's like, holy shit, dude, this is manipulative and scary. Like that kind of
snow crash shit right there.
So I don't know if I'm looking over the side. It's because I have 2 monitors set up today and it's different. I
forgot about like the big ass information pool from Facebook. I did ads back for
it's
Impact.
Wild, right?
Like you have just options for everybody.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing I'm trying to destroy. We don't need that, man. We can do it a better way. So the better way is probably one of our first demos, but we won't jump right into it. What I will say though is you're kind of on a Netflix special. You know, when you go to a stand-up show and they're like, "Hey, it's my Netflix special. You guys might have a different kind of show today." We're probably going to reach a point where I'm like, "All right, I want to do a demo now. Everybody shut up," and then we'll go into demo mode, and I'll be like, "All right, y'all go away."
We're going to be ousted for a moment.
You know, like that, and then we'll do a demo. And the cool thing there is, I hope it'll be able to be cut out for like somebody who doesn't want to watch a 2-hour show, just wants a 60-second. Here's how you do that video. So, or at least timestamp it. Makes sense, right?
It'd be good to like, if we can just chop it up, I think might not be a bad idea. So like, I would love to post it somewhere where we can just have people just go and click on it and have a few seconds of being able to view what they're looking for, essentially.
Yep. We got a lot of input today, so I'll be handing out a bunch of Matter rewards today, so that's cool. I appreciate everybody who dropped in. I've already taken some time last night to try to answer some of these, and because of that, I'll probably be a little bit more brief on it today to make time for the demo stuff, and then you just follow up there. So, in case we don't get through all of them, I'll do it the same way we do with World Blockchain Show, and I'll go from the top, depending on what's been voted up at the top. And I try to vote the same amount on all of them as long as I still have the energy left. So I try not to put my toe on the scale. So let's see. Anything else before I roll into comments?
No, I think that's a good jump in there.
Cool. So good morning, Joe Blow.
Oh, yeah, wait, hold on. Before we roll into the comments, if you're watching this, you're like, "Hey, I want to go talk to these guys." You can.
That's a good point. You can jump right in whenever.
Come join us here. This show is not proprietary of us. We do not run the whole thing forever.
Not proprietary is a good way to put it.
Yeah,
I mean,
literally, this is us getting to know people, and David and I are the only people with not enough friends or things to do at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time
on a weekday. Yeah.
Kidding me?
It's a Wednesday at 9 a.m.
I built my whole schedule around this. My work job, my actual job is like I structured it to do this hour thing.
Yeah, I quit my job. I quit my job.
John sold his house.
I sold my house, quit my job, adopted a dog, did all these things. So one day I could be on.
That's not even his real home. That's just a green screen. He lives in a shed.
Yeah. This is I don't know why.
Going off the rails.
It was a good house you sold there too. The neighbors are nice. I haven't met them thoroughly yet, but you got a lot of plants, and it looks like your house still.
Oh, you I thought you were being a joke. I thought you were making a joke.
No, your house you sold. It's a dope house. I mean, it's not a dope house. It's not. It's a good house.
This is Gainesville. It could have been at some point.
It's a Gainesville greenhouse, but with real plants.
With actual plants in it.
Anyway, but yeah, you can join this. You can be up here, be goofy, ask questions about things you don't know about, or tell us things that we don't know. This is just a chance for us to drink coffee at 9 a.m. and for me to start my brain in the morning, because I literally woke up about 30 minutes ago.
Good morning.
I guess one thing we should do real quick. What's in your cup?
Oh, this is just coffee and oat milk and sugar. But I was making a lot of coffee cocktails for two reasons recently, too. One, because they're fun to make, and two, because I didn't want to make an entire thing of French press, and the only thing I have, right before I jump on the show, I don't have a lot of time because I wake up right before the show. So the only thing I have are little espresso K-cup type things.
Oh, gotcha.
Not enough coffee for me in my life. And I completely forgot that we have 8 boxes of this stuff called Comet Coffee, which is high-end French press coffee that's nitro frozen into little containers that you just put some water on the kettle and pour it in there, and then you got amazing coffee. I forgot we had that in our fridge. We have 8. It's the majority of my fridge.
You like to make stuff anyway, and you're decent at it, so I can see that. Just
knowing
you for a few years, you're a creative guy, and that goes into everything.
my wife bought it for me because she's like, "Oh, you might like this," and it's very tasty and good. I just always forget that I have coffee in the freezer. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I forget to make it. So this morning I was like, okay,
I guess that's not
I'm
where I
gonna
would
make
check for my coffee supply.
I wouldn't either, but we did do ice cubes for a while because we always have leftover coffee.
Yeah.
And so instead of just dumping it, we make coffee ice cubes, and then later on, you just throw the ice cubes in a cup, and you got cold coffee.
I
pretty
forgot.
good.
I need to do that too.
That's
I
clever.
actually have an old cup of coffee here from yesterday.
Freeze it.
Oh, that counts.
It's
Just
fine.
stick it in the freezer and then break it up. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I spent like, I woke up at 8 and then didn't stop writing until like, I don't know, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
4 o'clock in the 8 in the morning until like,
Okay.
So that's
because like
long
I had
day
like a
of writing
script that I had to
words.
write. It was.
I don't stay up late anymore like I used to. I thought you were talking about 8 to 4 a.m.
No, I
And,
can't be awake that long.
I definitely used to, man. That would be my prime, writing and whatever I needed to concentrate on. But I'm up early now. Does that mean I'm old?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
You've crossed
I'm
the
100%.
threshold.
I'm more creative in the morning, but not like 5 minutes after I wake up. Like,
I need an hour.
yeah, about an hour after I wake up, like coffee. Okay, I'm good. But yeah, anyway, like we normally do, Dave wants to do something, and I find a way not to do it.
No, that's fine because this is that's a good example of the balance here. I'm very much the kind of person, if you like, even if people are on the show, I'll just keep talking and I'll just roll into stuff and I'll just steamroll 2 hours of monologue. So that's fine. Break it up.
I love how our names are on here. They're all just slightly different. Like,
Yeah,
Dave, you're distant and you have like a letter in there, or a number in there, so it looks like there's a capital letter, but it's not. It's just a number.
No, it's just
And then
lead.
Yours
and then
drives
you
me
have the
insane.
bar. And
The
then you have
bar?
the bar in your name.
It's like at the checkout aisle in the grocery store. It's the little separator.
Yeah. And then Gravity Crab. You got like 2 capital letters that make sense. And then you have parentheses instead. And then me, it's all lowercase.
Which drives me insane.
All the way.
It's the first thing I noticed. It's driven me insane that Dave does his username there with a lowercase. You've done that for like 10 years.
Yep, it's
Something
on purpose.
close to at this point. This has driven me nuts since day one, just in case you're ever wondering.
It's the right way to do it. I'm with John.
I just like it because I think it looks weird with with like the capitalized correctly.
Well, thanks.
But then it's also fun when people read it. It's like to Swiffer. Oh, and then they realize it's a bunch of different words, not one word.
It's like trying to pronounce Cthulhu or something, right?
Yeah. My name used to be We Are Go Radio, which was like named after a band, and like people had no idea what it was when you look at it.
We are go.
Yeah, it's
We are Gradio.
yeah, that's what they would say, Garadio. I'm like
Garadio.
Garadio, the Karate Man.
but people that know the band know what's up, and that's how you decide.
It's an
who's your
inside
friend
joke.
and who's not.
And I just want to say hi to my other buddy, John, really quick. Different John. He actually was somebody I was talking to about Den yesterday, and he made an account and he posts stuff over on the Christianity layer. Funnily enough.
Well, shout out to you. Thanks for joining us.
He's a
And
good
shout
guy.
out to Good Morning Dakota. Dakota's with Gravity Crab on the capitalization there.
Oh, you see, like
Yes,
a sensible person would.
You got
Wait,
somebody
hold
on
on.
your side too.
Is that my wife, Dakota, or is that a different Dakota?
Is your wife's last name Lane?
Yes.
Yes. Ah,
You're
that's
supposed
awesome.
to be in a meeting. What are you doing?
She is in a meeting. It's Coffee with Den.
She's got
You know, I'm gonna illustrate why I'm right. You know what else can only be lowercase? Tags. So let's segue into that.
All right, let's roll.
Um,
That was a good segue, man. Your segues are getting much better.
Yeah, I'm improving. I'm trying to. And actually, we will do a tagging demo in a minute. But I want to just go from the top so I keep myself organized. But yeah, tags are all lowercase. They have to be. No spaces. What else? All lowercase, no spaces, maximum 13 characters. I wonder if that's in the FAQ somewhere. If not, I should add it. Roles of a Denizen. If you watched the opening of this episode, you saw an ad that was like Roles of a Denizen, and then it said what the roles were. If you want to recap that at your own pace, I've got my screen blown up too big here. Let me do that. If you go to settings, actually, hold on. What am I logged in here as? I wanted to go to a different, let me think. Do I want to do, yeah. If you guys don't mind, I'm sorry. I'm going to pull us all up here, and I'm going to redo how I have my windows.
You're good. I just didn't expect just to see myself all of a sudden.
Yep, you're up there.
My screen's not broken anymore. My first day of I'm back to being a computer technician full time, which is lovely.
Congratulations, by the way. That's way up your alley more than.
I'm way pleased about it. But day one of getting there, my boss, being a wonderful person, he saw my laptop had a crack in it, and he was just like, "Oh, hey!" And he's like, "I have one of these in the back for parts," and he just kind of sets it down next to my computer. I was like, "Hey, what do you want for that?" And he's like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. That's like my gift to you." And I'm like, "Awesome!" So. No more crazy cracked screen. Everything looks all pretty. So appreciate you, Craig, even though I know you're definitely not watching this.
Well, thank you for filling a minute at a time there because I was just switching into a different account. So
I can babble.
One of the questions that came up earlier on was about having multiple accounts. And I'm going to run through that real quick on my way to the roles of a denizen thing. So this is a business account that I have, and it's what I am using to throw local parties and stuff in Gainesville. That's why it's spelled Gaines with an ES. Because Gainesville. But if you go to your settings, once you're logged into your account, you can go down. There's an FAQ here. I just want to highlight a couple of these things. There's an FAQ here that has a bunch of information in it. So this is all linkable directly. And in fact, if you see, I want to go into how to earn money too. So we'll just do all this at the same time sometimes. Like this, you can click on this and it links right to it. And then you can copy that link and you can send that to somebody as an answer to a question. So like if you see somebody on the on Den asking about, hey, what is lore? You could literally send them this directly to this part of the FAQ, and they might tip you out or upvote you as like, hey, thanks for being helpful. Generally, being helpful goes over very well, profitably, on the system. So you've got things like your FAQ in there. You've got things like the Den overview. And this is similar to what the ad in the beginning of this episode was about, which is what I was trying to say before I realized I was logged into the wrong account. But you can page through this at your own pace to get an idea. Oh, am I in there? Look at that. I am. My old Divi logo is in there. I didn't realize I was on this one.
Oh, that's cool.
But this goes through some key concepts, right? And it chops it down to little bite-sized nuggets of information on a different page. So there's this slide deck here for you, right? Should we elaborate or should we just say, here it is? Because I'm still not sure how to do this show sometimes.
Right. I think that with this right here, we're not really this is just showing people where they can find this information. It's already really well laid out in bite-sized bits. That you can
look at that puppy dog.
It doesn't hold a key to the torch to the dog that was just on John's lap, but
So if you read the overview and you're like, okay, that sounds interesting, but I'm a nerd and I love reading white papers because this is me.
I love reading.
There's a technical document called a white paper that is pretty common with new projects coming around built on blockchain and stuff like we are. And we have this version 0.96. It's not the final version, but it's pretty close. And you can go through and you can look at actually how this is designed from an engineering standpoint as well. So some of the questions, like technical questions you might have, could be found here. Like, what is a denizen? Why did we go with that? How does blocking work? A lot of people don't even realize there are blocking mechanisms, that there is accountability and reputation and all of this stuff that's all seamlessly integrated. And there's a mining process, and there's different ways that you can dig in to see, okay, what percentage of the mining process, like if you're taking a test in school or something and you want to figure out how to make, spend the minimum effort to pass the class, you can break down, like where your percentages come from, and all that stuff is in here. There's some equations, like there's a bunch of stuff. So this should be a pretty dense document for anybody's willing to dig into it. And there's a lot in here. And probably this is the document that made me go apeshit about Den in the first place. Because I came from a background of working with blockchain and I saw what they were doing here and was like, oh, that's brilliant. So, yeah. That's the document I like, but it can be a tough read. So those resources are there. And then the tokens one just goes through the tokens. You can click on them.
Yeah,
and
I
see
didn't even know that one was there, actually.
Yeah, you can just be like, oh, what are these again? Yeah. So there's stuff available there. Check out the settings.
Yeah, we tried to. Well, they overall tried to pack as much information in like readable format that you can easily access as possible. So there's a ton of it there, and anybody who constantly sees people asking questions, please link them to the FAQ. I mean, that's just an excellent resource.
Or just remind them that it's there. And not all.
Hey,
if you see something that's not in there, you could bring that up too. We'll try to get it in there. Yeah, John, is that clear? Basically, just like, because I wanted to recap the whole where stuff was too. Did you not know any of those things were there? Because you haven't been on forever.
Yo, you've done this like tutorial in like spurts for like the past like 6 months.
Okay, well sometimes
here's the thing. I now know everything there is to know about Den besides what blockchain is and what cryptocurrency is.
That's
kind
really
of the point.
Which is the point of Den. Like, I don't have to know any of that shit. I just know that if I have fun on the internet, I get points. Like, and points that I can then change out for money if I want to spend $100 in $100
in Ether fees.
Yeah, make sure you make more than $100 before you do that, because it's going to be eaten by Ethereum.
Gas fees.
If I want to pay gas fees, or I can like trade it to like Dave if I wanted to and try to cash out that way.
Yeah.
But then he's going to make money a year from now when the price of matter is 60 cents as opposed to 30 cents.
It's a marketplace. It's a prediction marketplace. And part of that prediction is like, strategizing your David Gravity Crab and I sometimes refer to it as mining, because we have a mining company. And we're like, what we got to do is we have to part of our strategy, we can actually get into this a little bit, is for what we're doing. Right now, I've got the Chia blockchain is about 3/4 or 2/3 of the way synced. It's been syncing for like 18 freaking hours. I got this machine that I'm dying to try out.
Has it? I didn't know that yet.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for it to sync, and I want to see how fast I can plot plots, and, whatever. So for the cryptocurrency layer, we have in our mining business, we're using Den for mining matter. And the way that we mine matter is, hey, we're going to be building this shit anyway. Let's document it. Let's take pictures of it. Let's do benchmarks. Let's do tests. Let's find numbers that aren't on the internet yet. Like this specific CPU that I have with plotting in memory instead of on a solid state drive. Let's make an article about that for miners or anybody who's interested and post it on Den, since we're doing all that work anyway. So we get to monetize the creation process of the work itself, along with doing things we're going to do anyway. So that's one of our strategies.
Yeah, we get to post it up on a place that we happen to be slightly fond of. So that's nice too.
Yeah. And if you think of anything that you have found to be strategically useful, let me know. But I'm going to run through a couple of things just by randomly looking at my home screen that is that I haven't voted on stuff on.
You have spent far more time doing this stuff than I have. So
Okay.
Strategies, I got nothing on my head right now.
Cool. So this is the part then where I'm going to talk about voting, and then I'll probably just try to squeeze it into like 60 seconds so that I can point to it later and say, here's how voting works.
Yep.
We'll see how much I don't include and how much I get wrong along the way.
So John and I will be ousted for a while.
I guess. Oh, yeah. Do you want to? Let's do this.
Because since we're going to use this for different purposes, we should go ahead and just have it be the center screen.
Dakota says this podcast is way more interesting than the staff meeting on Zoom, so we're doing something right. Well, I added the part about
I don't know if he's correct. Oh, actually.
Okay, cool. I'm going to pause the show
She
for a
was
second.
the only one on my side.
Back. All right, let's talk about voting on Den. There are some pretty identifiable buttons up and down, and you can click on them. There's some tags here. We'll talk about those in a different demo. But whenever you're voting on something, what you're doing is you're evaluating the content as it relates to the community that it's in. So this is posted to the Den governance layer, which is specifically a layer in Den that is supposed to be on the topic of governance issues where, like, how should we change the thing? So I would look at this and say, discussion, add bookmarks. And this person wants to add a way for you to bookmark stuff in Den along the way in case you see a long post that you don't have time for that you want to catch up with later, sort of how like other platforms have a pocket or a save for later. And so this is a discussion about, hey, does anybody else think this would be a cool feature? So objectively, I'm going to click it one time and say, yep, that belongs in here. That's my initial vote up or down to say, yeah, that is on topic. It belongs here, or no, that's off topic, or, it's not something the community will want. You're predicting whether or not other people will click up or down too. And the reason that's important is the sooner you do that, this already has 2.6 thousand votes on it, evaluation points, and the energy, 2.6 thousand energy is what we call it. If I were the first one and I voted it up and I was right, I would get rewarded more than if I was one of the last ones that voted up just because everybody else did, right? So if I'm really confident that this is going to be a popular thing, I will also apply more energy to it, right? And this is a Fibonacci sequence, and you go, I want to add some more, and that's how you decide how much you want to bet of your pool of energy that this will go over well. And if you're correct, it's a prediction market. Your upvotes earn you money. You get matter payouts every day. So that's how the evaluation system works. All right, how'd I do? Was that basically a minute? You're so not on.
You can hear me.
I fixed it. Yeah. It's okay. I was muted while you were doing your thing. It's cool. No, that was well done. That was pretty much on point.
Cool. I was trying to throw a nugget in there, and sometimes I get, you know how often I get sidetracked?
Oh,
that
yeah. Just
the entire thing was like, don't talk about anything else. I almost talked about tags.
I like there will be a section for tags, but how you're not going to talk about them.
Yeah, I know. It's because my brain went there immediately. It was like, oh, you
talk about this in a second.
That's good. You know what? That's good. It's a little nugget for them to like, oh, there's something more coming later.
Oh, there you go. See,
tags in the future.
I will retroactively make a reason for that, or as the FBI calls it, parallel construction.
I was gonna call it subtle marketing, but all right.
Okay, that's
subtle
fair.
Marketing.
This is a good idea, though. I use the bookmark feature, Control D, and it brings up what do you want to call this bookmark? But I can see where it would be useful to have a Den specific bookmarks thing too.
That would be nice. I see stuff all the time because I'll open my phone and just flip through it for a few seconds while I have nothing to do. And I'll be like, oh, this is really well written. Now, there's been a lot of really cool stuff on the history layer lately. So I'll be like, I'd love to read it, but it's really long. So it'd be nice to
true. And
save it.
I also don't think about like I'm a desktop person, I guess. I use the desktop, and I'm at my desk like most of the week. So I sometimes forget that, like, oh yeah, it's probably not a thing on the app. So a lot of those things that are available on the desktop are coming to the app still. But yeah, you can't easily bookmark on the app. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't bookmark anything like that.
Cool.
When I first looked at this post, I know who Smiling Caitlin is, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But when I first looked at it, I was like, so they want us to, instead of talking about books, they want us to talk about bookmarks. Like,
so there's
show
pictures
us your collection of bookmarks. Don't show us your collection of books.
Got
That's
you.
what I thought it was. Because there's so many groups. It's like, show us your bookshelf. I'm like, okay, well,
I think it's aesthetically pleasing.
It's like, you know what we need to do? Start a show us your collection of bookmarks, which I'm sure nobody uses because everybody buys a bunch of books and then rebuys them on Kindle.
That's a good point that maybe you didn't mean to bring up. But so this is posted in the Den governance layer. Mm-hmm. So part of using Den would be to like when you're scrolling through your home feed to see where it's posted to give you an idea of like what it might be talking about. And that would have been, unlikely that they're talking about bookmarks, but maybe. And if it was, we could evaluate it down, right? Even though it's a wonderful post and it's a very good idea. If it was about showing off a collection of bookmarks, we may have voted it down and then gone over here to the tagging system and added one that said wrong layer. But it's not in here because I didn't add that tag. Damn it.
It's in most layers and most people have probably seen it.
Yeah, in most layers, it's supposed to be a default one now, but I guess I didn't
Yeah, that's-
default it to all of them. My bad. Let's not demo the wrong layer tag, whatever you do. But yeah,
We'll do
I
the
would
tags
typically, if what you described was the case, I would have evaluated it down. And it's important to know that that's not like a mean thing. I'm not being like rude and saying screw you, downvote emotionally, because that happens a lot on other platforms that have downvote buttons. It's more of a community suggestion of like not what we want to see. Maybe take it to the art layer, maybe take it to the fiction or the books or the reading layer.
Yeah, something that doesn't necessarily fit one place or do well somewhere might do absolutely fantastic somewhere else.
Mhm.
So
So
I kind of want to know how many people have old bookmarks laying around their house now. So, post pictures of your old bookmarks in the comments if you want.
I got one right here. It's
this
just
isn't the post
so-
about bookmarks though.
I use
It's a
letters.
Not this comment section, our comment section.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is the comment section of commenting on the bookmark post, right? Right
This
now,
is going to be an entwined spaghetti web of linking through different layers.
for people watching, I'm still figuring out how the internet works. I'm still learning. Cryptocurrency, still no clue, but it's fine.
You can also earn cryptocurrencies with the tagging system, though, not
Yeah.
just the evaluation. And it works similar to the evals. So let's do that real quick. There's not a bunch of tags, but I can do a simple tagging thing here, right? And maybe I'll do two of them. We'll pick whichever one we like the best. Oh, real quick, we've got VKB says, in case any post is getting only downvotes, how the content creator's matter earning is going to be affected. Great question. That used to be more of an issue than it is now. Today, if you have someone who goes against consensus, meaning, let's say, most people in that community vote up, like evaluate positively. Yes, it belongs here. We want this kind of content. No matter how much energy they apply, they're voting in a consensus that this belongs here kind of deal. So there's been discussions about whales and downvoting and things like that. What has been changed from the way it originally was, specifically because of this, is that if that happens to you and somebody comes in and downvotes dramatically against consensus, if you still come out, the quorum agrees that this is objectively good content, regardless of what some asshat said. Said asshat's negative energy is an absolute value, and it gets applied absolutely without the negative part. So all of the energy that's in that pool gets applied, and the person who is trying to harm you is actually just giving you more money. So it actually works pretty well as a deterrent for people to be dickheads in their whale ship.
That's actually super cool.
Isn't that kind of neat?
Cool.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time I've heard the use of absolute value since like middle school.
Oh, cool.
In like a real world sort of way, like as a non-math or engineering major.
So it took until now from middle school to answer that question of how am I ever going to use this?
How does this word problem actually apply to real life? Well, all we needed to do was invent fake money, and we did it.
Well, we did that in 1971.
Is that a gold standard reference? I don't
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh. Somebody used to be a history major. This guy.
Did you really?
Not me. Not me.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh, did you?
That's cool.
I wanted to go to law school, so I was like,
No kidding. That makes the history layer even more interesting. I keep finding people that are really interested in history, and it makes me want to get really interested in history.
Please do, Dave. I can tell you so many dumb things.
I just want to play civilization games and stuff, dude.
You know what's going to happen if we start playing Civ? There's going to be a culture in there. I'm going to be like, all right, let me tell you about this.
We're gonna role play civilization, aren't we? Instead of
No,
just
we're not even going to. We're just going to be like, no, this isn't what the Greeks did. We need to go around this way.
Yeah, right.
On a real life note, though, David, you got to come to trivia on Wednesdays then, because
That would be
we
fun.
need a history person.
Yeah, I can do
Okay.
that. That would be a lot of fun, actually.
My wife is sciences and just random trivia because that's what she reads now. Is like trivia books and science fiction books. We need we have a music person. We have I kind of know sports every once in a while. But we need like another sports person and a history person. So
My whole
tag team.
whole evening if I'm not playing a game or something is sitting on my chair over there watching and just looking at dumb stuff about things that happened a long time ago. It's great.
Great. 8 p.m. today, Vecinos, be there or we won't see you.
I don't know if I'll be there or you won't be. All right, let us continue with our making of bits of content that is stuff we need to chop up later.
Yeah, I apologize in advance for scrolling through and not voting on some of your content. If any of you are watching, I'm just looking for something that is a specific example. This is one. So we were talking about tagging. I wanted to do a different post instead of the same one. And it would be helpful. Actually, all these are fine. Yeah.
The person posts all kinds of food stuff, by the way. Just side note.
Oh, what is this? Security and privacy controls. So this is something that could be interesting. This is something that I would put in a bookmark to read later from what Smiling Caitlin was talking about.
That's a good example.
So I'll just do that. Power of desktop. All right.
Well, gee, I wish I could do that on the app.
Yeah, right. So let's go here.
By the way, and open them in a separate tab. Is that a thing?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, that's my biggest gripe with that. That's right there.
Yeah, I can see that.
I just open a whole bunch of tabs like, I'll touch these later. That's how I bookmark shit.
You just do the right click new window.
Yeah, and then you just never turn your computer off and leave 1,200 tabs open, right?
Oh god, that's my new life again.
My computer has been on for 24 hours.
Stop.
Not on purpose. Not on purpose. I forgot last night, and I was.
Is it a desktop or a laptop?
Desktop.
Okay, that's not as bad.
Here's a good one.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. All right. So I'm not going to, before I do the demo, I want to talk about this real quick because here is something that is questionable in my mind. I have a personal opinion. A lot of people have a personal opinion. And one of the things that Den is good at is like anonymously fielding that to see what the opinions collectively are. I don't think, for example, that this is a cryptocurrency post. This is not about cryptocurrency, except for it talks about the value against the dollar and how much it went up and down from the dollar. Not interested in the dollar. I'm interested in cryptocurrency, not interested in the money aspect as I am with the engineering aspect. But a lot of people only care about the money aspect and only care about whether they can convert it back to dollars again later and don't want to keep it. So this is something that I would vote against in the cryptocurrency layer, that I would vote for in the trading lounge, right? Because we've got charts and we're talking about profitability, and that's like a trading thing. I don't mind it in the cryptocurrency layer at all, but I don't know. Objectively, I'm just going to vote it down. It's not mean. It's just like, no, this is like trading layer stuff, and I'm not going to go overboard. I'm just going to be like a little bit of extra energy, in my opinion. And if I'm right and other people agree, I get paid for that. You notice how it said 0 at first. It means nobody's voted on it. So as the initial evaluation, the first person, you don't yet know how people are going to receive this post. You're predicting whether they will or will not evaluate it up in the layer. So I'm predicting that more people than not will say, nope, off topic, basically, take it to the trading layer. And I'm even going to go see if it's here in this one. Yeah, it's here. Wrong layer, right? As a suggestion of like, hey, maybe that. Additionally, just to make sure that I'm clear and don't want to hurt feelings, I guess, I'll say something like, this is more of a community thing, and it's not a strategy to make money, except building a community is a strategy for that. I'll say this is a fantastic post that would probably perform better in the trading lounge, just as a heads up. And if I want to be super helpful, I can then go to the trading lounge and I can grab a link to that. So let's see here. Let's go down to T. I don't think that this account is subscribed to that. T. Tahi. Tahi.
T-R?
Oh, to ravel. There it is. Cool. So trading lounge, I'll just grab a link to it. And then I'll highlight that for this person. and I'll say blount, and then they can click on it and go there.
So that's how that works. I didn't know that's how that worked. That's cool.
And maybe if there's a tag that says, sometimes one says suggestion, right, or recommendation. I don't see that right now, but there we go. Reply. So I've given feedback. I do like the article. The person has taken some time to format it nicely, link it. I mean, it's very well done, I think. Assuming it wasn't copied and pasted from somewhere, which I haven't checked yet. The person says it's original, though. I'm not going to vote on that before I go like word search and see if it's been ripped. But yeah. This is the part where I can do tags. So let me roll into that, and I'll tag these for a demo.
Well, hold on one sec. I was going to say as well real quick. And what we just showed off here is an example. This is not, and it's something that people don't get a lot of the time coming over here. Back to the other platforms having major negative stipulation for a downvote. This is nothing like mean right here. This isn't an attempt to say like you've made bad stuff. Like this is bad. It's just trying to say, hey, this probably could go somewhere else and we'll do better. So it's just a little bit, you got to think about it a little bit different.
I just think it's useful to put trading stuff in the trading lounge, even if it's about cryptocurrency, because the trading lounge can be trading stocks. It can be trading bananas. I don't know. And then the cryptocurrency layer can talk about what I want to talk about, which is why I voted in the way that, it's like community rules. Like, I'm not deciding this. I might be wrong, and I'm fine with being wrong. But yeah.
I mean, somebody else's problem might come in here and just be like, hey, no, I like this. This makes sense here, and upvote it a bunch, and then boom, and then say
If
no to the wrong layer.
Yeah, if the majority of people want this to be a trading lounge too, fine. I don't care.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I'm just going to vote the way that I think.
It's what the overall group wants it to be.
Do you hear Daedra barking? Is that fine?
Slightly, but it ain't that big a deal. She's just doing Daedra things, summoning gates to oblivion,
all that, yeah.
Getting destroyed by the Argonians, the usual.
Let me see if I can run through a little demo on tagging so that we can have that for later. We'll bookmark it. We'll timestamp it and stuff.
Go for it.
All right, so let's pull this screen here. All right, so tagging on Den. We talked about this before I was recording about why I downvoted this. It's actually a very good post. That's not what this is about at all, though. We're talking about these green and these gray tags. Sometimes you'll see them as red, and sometimes you'll see a little star on them too. So at some point on Den, we're going to have the ability to filter by these tags. So you could sort the one layer full of posts into a particular category. If it was about music, you could say only show me rock, or only show me rap, or only show me country. Same thing here in cryptocurrency. You could say only show me Solana if you're super into that. That isn't there yet, but we do have the first version of tags to make sure it's working before we add all that. And the way that works is you vote in the same way that you vote on content. You vote on tags for whether or not they apply and they are appropriate to this. So we're crowdsourcing people's opinion on tags. They don't work like hashtags on Twitter. You can't arbitrarily put tags in and like butt into someone's conversation that isn't about you. This is more about rewarding people for working on making sure the tags are accurate. So if I go in here and I vote on these, let's say I've gone and made sure that this was original. Maybe I highlighted some text and was, searched for this specific phrase on search engines, and I didn't see it in any other articles around the internet. And I'm pretty sure, yep, okay, this is original work. Original work, I think you should always try to validate before voting on it, because it's one of the most profitable things to do on Den, and you don't want to give somebody an original tag that doesn't that's stealing it from somewhere else. So I voted up, saying, yep, seems original. Now, if the other thing had happened, I could vote it down by clicking it again, and it flips my little thumb to point down. And if I further realize that I'm confused and I don't know what I'm doing, I can click it again, and it takes it away completely, and you haven't voted on that tag. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, yes, original, Bitcoin. I don't think it's a shill. It is a chart. It does seem to be some analysis in this. And I'll come back to wrong layer in a second. Number go up, I would say, yes, they're focused on the dollars and what you could get when you sell the cryptocurrency and convert it back to fiat, which is, questionably about cryptocurrency. Projection, I did see some of that in there, and I don't know if it's FOMO though. So that's my opinion, and others may disagree. Now, depending on how we all vote, these might change what order they're in. Some of them might turn red. If everyone agrees that this is not a shill post, this will turn red. The ones that are gray have fallen into the I don't know zone, depending on who's voted on it. So you still have all the other users voting on these tags to decide which ones are the most accurate, so it's the most useful for people trying to figure out what your content's about. And same way with evaluating content, the earlier you vote on a tag, up or down, the more rewards you get, and you get rewarded for tagging correctly. So that's cool. So there's tagging for you. So what do you think about that? You're off again with your volume.
As per usual. I try to mute it just in case it's time for somebody to drive by in a big old truck. No, yeah, perfect. Makes sense. Easy to understand. There he is. Was wondering where John went.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
I've been sitting there the entire
Oh,
time.
John.
I went to the YouTube chats. I went all the way there. I never even realized I was.
I didn't. I was on my own little rant.
I knew you were gone. I just figured you'd show up at some point.
So Dave can only.
What's up, chat? I'm part of you now.
Yeah, Dave is the only one that can see if somebody's like waiting to get in.
Yeah, and I have like all this stuff is pushed over in the
I
corner.
love that he tried to start a riot immediately.
Oh, great. So yeah, tagging gets you paid. So strategy wise is if you can tag earlier and objectively accurately, you can earn more matter or MTR on Den. If you go around spamming all the tags, I don't know, but you might get lucky and hit one that happens to be objectively right later on and get some sort of reward like 0.00 nothing or whatever. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but I've seen people trying it. Way more profitable and efficient and easier and time effective to just give an objective opinion. And most of the time your brain's going to work like a human brain. And more often than not, you'll probably land in consensus if you think of it objectively during your evaluations. So it's a job, it's a role that gets paid, tagging, that kind of thing. What else do we have here? Let's run back to the agenda.
I was going to say, what's next on our list?
Where is me? There we go.
Wouldn't it be great if you could just like right click something and then open it in a new tab? So then later you could just like tab
Just
back.
click
to
on
it.
the little thing.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna
But
save
it's
that.
Dave, so he'd click every single tab up atop and before he found his tab anyways.
But
Wait,
there's
where-
only
where am
2 tabs right now.
Me?
And
Yeah.
we're still lost.
I was, I do that. I get lost. It's a personality trait.
We love you anyways. It's okay.
Do you guys get what I was trying to say about predictions? About how whenever you're voting and tagging and stuff, that what you're really doing is participating in a prediction market?
A better way to, I guess a simpler way to put it is you're just trying to, if you think it's going to do good, vote it up. And if it does well, you'll get paid out better.
One of the goals of Den is to produce the best content the soonest, or best in the eyes of that particular layer, right? So every layer has a different idea of what is even true or not, right? Is the Earth flat or round? Is it hollow or not? Is it, were there dinosaurs, weren't there? There could be layers of communities that all have this own different version of what they prioritize and what they want. Your job is to predict what that particular layer will want to see and want to engage in, and how they will vote on it. That's actually your job, is to predict people, right? How do you herd cats? Incentivize someone else to figure it out. That's what we're doing. So that's what I mean by prediction market, is everything that you're doing, everything that you're doing that will generate matter for you is something that you are applying skill, personal experience, objectivity to as best as you can, and you'll get better with that. That's a skill that you learn over time. That's a skill that you get better at as soon as you see, like in my experience, as soon as I start seeing feedback, I'll start seeing that, oh, I'm wrong in this one layer. They actually do want to talk about trading, that kind of thing. And then you can either go to a different layer, or you can either start evaluating, even if you disagree with something, right? You can still evaluate it up if you think that the other people in that particular layer will agree with it, right?
If you think that it fits, it also if it just fits overall. I mean,
Yeah.
something that.
So if you're not producing content, you're voting and you're working for that layer. You can think of it that way too. You know, you're doing a job for them, so they don't have to do it, and you get paid for it. That's how work works. Penalties and reputation. This is one that can get super confusing. Even like I had a hard time for a while because I did that thing where I thought it worked one way, and no matter how many times I told myself that I was wrong and I should read into it more, my brain kept going back to a different way that it worked. So I'll explain that as well. How do you guys, and I keep, poking at you about not being crypto people and being relatively newer, but how do you understand this stuff? Because we've talked about it some. How do you understand that the reputation system, or do you understand how the reputation system works?
I'll go first because I'm assuming David probably knows more than I do. So we'll start with my lower base understanding.
We'll start at the bottom of this actual little totem pole here and go up.
Because I don't want to cheat off of David's answer.
He's not, don't you steal my stuff. But I'm going to cheat off yours if you're right.
Mine's real simple, though. Penalties. I got dog hair in my mouth. Penalties and reputation.
Happens.
Do good things happen. Do bad things happen. If you're like actually trying with like your predictions and put like tagging things the way they should be tagged, posting things in the layers they're supposed to be and not just in every layer you can, and you're engaging with the community enough that you actually have enough reputation to have developed a reputation, then good things are going to happen and you're going to get more points. Don't do those things, points go down. But yeah, like just be a halfway decent person. Be a full way decent person, but like if you get halfway there, it's okay.
Shoot for the stars, land on the moon as far as being a decent person goes.
Exactly. So let's try to do that as people.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then apply that to this is how I look at it. You can probably also go and look at your actual reputation in layers and stuff. I'm sure. I don't know that. I just try to like be around when I can and do the right and vote things the way that I feel like they should. Yeah,
and that's really all you should have to do. You shouldn't have to dig into all this, and this is for people that are curious how that works. It should be transparent to users, even like once we get the site-wide governance rolled out as far as voting on things and how much weight people get in their vote. You shouldn't have to worry about any of that. It's our job. I say our. It's the developer's job. It's the engineer's job, and I guess my job to explain it to people, but to make that easy and transparent and to make it accurate and objective as well. You want to go Gravity Crab, or you just want to cheat off John's answer?
John's answer wasn't bad, to be honest.
No, it wasn't bad. You sound surprised.
I'm not mildly surprised.
I defined the words reputation and what was the other one?
Oh, you just went to the dictionary?
Yeah, dictionary.com and said, do good things happen. Do bad things happen. And if you do enough good things, you get a reputation for doing good things. If you do enough bad things, you get a reputation for doing bad things.
My understanding essentially is just like if you tend to go somewhere that obviously you're going to post something and it's going to start some kind of enormous controversy or something like controversy, more than likely it's going to negatively affect your reputation in that layer. And at that point, you don't really get to post stuff anymore. So that's pretty much my basic understanding of it.
Yep. That works that way too, basically. So here's the way that I would rephrase both of yours a little bit, just to be politically neutral.
No, please.
I guess. But I talked a minute ago about evaluation and objective skill, doing work, that kind of thing. So when you have a bunch of anonymous people that you don't have to go out individually and hire them, you don't have to go out individually and vet them to make sure that they can not be a bad actor. When you're allowing people to sign up with just an email address and you want to make sure that there aren't bots and trolls and people that are just like here to damage things, you can do that without being invasive into everyone's privacy and stuff. Like earlier when I was ranting about Facebook and how they do things, that's, morally questionable to me. Another option is to just make the system filter out objectively bad behavior as seen by the community. So every different layer is going to have a different set of reputation settings. And they even have the option of turning them off and on, right? And the good and bad thing, that's a super easy way to look at it. But it's more of like, how reliably right or wrong are you? And it's applied to your posts. Is how people evaluate you whenever you post and reply and stuff. So if you're doing things that people are not individuals, but communities like layers are regularly down evaluating, saying, no, this doesn't belong. It could be in the case of spam or something like, go sign up for this that has nothing to do with the layer. That this mechanism will, over time, after enough evaluations, say, okay, this person's obviously, the community doesn't appreciate this person's content. We're going to weed them out. They can go to a different layer and you can post in there, but you can't post in here anymore, right? Basically. That can be turned on and off, and that can apply to posts, or it can even apply to like, okay, you can post, but now we're going to remove the ability for you to post a video. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or it could work the other way, where it gives everyone the ability, or it gives no one the ability to post a video until they post images first, or until they post regular like Word things that
interacted enough with the community.
Yeah, to be like, okay, this person's probably a good actor, and we'll let them post videos. Or so this is why it gets all confusing, right? Or you could say that. What was I just going to say? Oh, let's say there's somebody new to the layer. It's a new layer even, but the person has had an account on Den for a long time, so they have reputation in other layers. You can actually use a site-wide reputation to manage things as well. So you can say, all right, if they already have like a 4-star site-wide reputation, they can go ahead and do whatever they want in my layer until we get enough data to use the layer reputation, and then it switches over. Right. So let me demo this.
Nobody in the background is just, and also like nobody's just like going and assigning these stars to you. Like not one, it's not like 1 or 2 people are just floating around, just like, oh, this person posts stuff I don't like. Let me drop it down this far. Think about it like this. If you go to your local gas station and start screaming at people about things that they don't want to hear or don't really want to talk about, they're not going to want you to come back to the gas station. It's just, there's a really basic analogy.
Yeah. But there might be a gas station, a Screamo gas station next door where you're welcome at. Yeah.
That's actually that's a good example. The gas station next door that's fine with being like with everything that you want.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. That's great. And so everybody gets what they want. So,
why did you use a gas station? That's the
because
worst
I couldn't
analogy.
think of any.
That was the last.
How about music venue? If you go to like the EDM bar and you keep playing screamo music on the jukebox, they're not going to ask you to come back.
Because I'm not a professional improv guy that came up with a better analogy. All right. Like, what do you want from me?
I don't think I developed that skill as when I started doing improv. I feel like that's just like an SAT.
Analogies are not my strong suit.
As the one person out of the 3 of us that probably didn't take the SAT.
Oh God!
I took the ACT and I got high enough. I'm like, I'm good.
I
went to high school in Fort White, so I didn't do anything.
I decided high school was way too much of a problem, anyways, and was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, they didn't make us read books. Like I took the ASVAB so I could join the military, but SATs, nobody goes to college out there.
I dropped out of high school.
I'm kidding. It's just a blanket statement that I feel like I can make because I'm from that community.
Well,
I dropped out of high school and Dave hired me to fix computers.
This is true. Yeah, this is true. So let's see. A couple of nuances, and I don't know if I'm not sure how short I can make a demo video on this, but I'll try.
It can be like more than 60 seconds. It's not.
Yeah, I know. I just don't want them to be. All right, cool. So let me do that real quick. I'll be right back. How's that? Okay. I mean, I'll be here the whole time, but you'll be right back.
Okay, great.
Nope, wrong button. Hold on.
Now we're front and center.
There it is. Dope. Cool. All right, so let's talk. Start over. Cut. All right, so let's talk about the reputation system on Den. It can get complicated, so I'm not going to go super deep into it with this demo. But what I've got up is an interface. Actually, if I wanted to change some of the settings, I could propose that from the settings menu, and then other people can vote on it if they agree. So a couple of things as an owner, if you hold lot, you'll start seeing these toggles. If you go into the settings and go through the reputation settings and stuff, you can turn the whole feature on and off, right? If this is something where you just want to open up your layer to like everything, you can just turn that off, and then you can just decide, okay, I do or don't want, for example, videos, right? We just want images. Maybe this is a photography layer and not a videography layer. So we're going to turn off the video in the photography layer, but we're going to turn off the images if this were the, so however your community decides they want to arrange things. Something that's more powerful, though, if you want to dig into it, is when you turn reputation settings on, you still have all the same settings, but now you can go through and say, objectively, without picking on any particular user, you can change behavioral reputation settings so that you can weed out things like bots or people that are just there to, make a scene and make noise that isn't helping the community. That happens. It's the internet. So there's what you'll see, though, is you'll see two different reputation settings. And the way that works, there's a threshold too. That's important. The way that works is, in this example, we're using the ability for someone to post in a layer, somebody to come in and post on a layer. Right now, it's set to 1 and 1. So somebody could have a very low reputation and they can still come in and they can post in the green earth layer. If you start to have problems with that in your community, where you start to have people that maybe should not be posting in the green earth layer because it's off topic or something, you can change that reputation score. So here's how you do it. Layer reputation required is the reputation that someone has to have specifically inside of your layer from when people have voted on their posts in the past, only in your layer. And that decides what they can and can't do. If you have a new user that comes in and you want to give new users the ability to say hello and not be blocked just because they haven't posted yet and you don't have any data on them to decide what the reputation should be, you can set site reputation as well. So let's say, you got a new layer. There's users that have been on before. They've got a reputation in other layers, but not yours. You can say, all right, you can come in here and you can post if you have a 4-star reputation everywhere else, like in other layers. So we think that you're probably okay. You can go ahead and post. And this is where the threshold thing comes in because it flips, right? If I go down to layer reputation required and I bump this up to 3, here's what's going to happen. A new user, let's say that they are posting nonsense that the community doesn't like and they get downvoted, they're going to start earning reputation for that. So once they post or they get evaluated 13 different times so that we have some sort of data in the layer, then their reputation flips to layer reputation. So the effect is if they come in, they've got somehow site-wide reputation that's 4 stars, but they come in making a bunch of noise that people don't want in your layer. And by the time they hit the threshold, they've developed a 2-star reputation, right? Or a 1. Since the layer reputation is set at 3 stars, the outcome is that they stop having the ability to post automatically without anybody needing to do anything. You don't have to block them. You don't have to engage verbally with them. All you have to do is objectively, nope, this doesn't belong here with the votes, and reputation takes care of the rest. If you're finding that people need to get to that point faster, like you've got a bot problem, you can pull this threshold down. So they have to have less posts or replies or whatever in your layer to get evaluated before the reputation score is determined and it flips over to the other one. Other way around, if it's too sensitive, you can increase that, and you can increase and decrease a lot of these settings all at the same time to get everything just right before you submit your proposal to say, hey guys, gals, everybody, this is what the reputation should be like. Vote yes or no. And if you're going to do that, I would say probably open a conversation before you do this part to see what everybody wants ahead of time. So that's basically how reputation works on Den. There's a lot more nuance that I could go into, but be sure to look into modifying that for your particular community because I'm really confident that you're going to have a better experience if you fine tune the reputation requirements for people to be collaborating with you. And so there's reputation. Hey, we're back. All right, so there's my little blurb about rep. What did I miss? Probably something, right?
I missed the first 45 seconds because I walked away, but all in all, I think you did fine.
Cool.
Knowing the way you explained stuff, I'm sure it was good.
All right.
John,
and if not, I'll do it again. If not, I'll do it again. All right. In the comments on YouTube, if you have anything you want me to demo, I'm going to move on a little bit. Throw it in there. I'll see if I can get to it. Let me go back to my post a long way. Go to Den. Coffee with Den. Demo day. That's me. Cool.
Demo day.
All right. So we just wrapped that line item. The rest of these can be, like this one can be a long conversation. I'll probably end up glossing over it so I can hit some of the community questions and stuff today. Layer creation options. Something that I wanted to hit real quick is there is the LCP process, which we create a new layer every month, and it's a contest. And you win by having the most votes, or you can win by having the most unique voters. Real quick, last week on the governance call, completely put out some wrong information. We're not going to be doing 2 by unique voters in February. I had that discussion thread in my head, and I was thinking that it was a voting proposal, and it passed because it was discussed, and I was just confused, had some wires crossed. In February, it's just going to be 2 again. We'll vote on maybe increasing that, but I just wanted to correct myself and walk back what I said about having 3 winners in February, because we won't. We'll have 2, just like the last few times. So this is one way. There's a whole voting process where you commit lore, and there's farming, and maybe that's some demos I can save for next time. But there are other ways to create a layer also. If you just want to make one, you can email support and say, or info at Den.Social, I think, and you can say, yo, I want a layer. How much? And they will give you a price, and then you can do a business-to-business transaction. You can create a business layer. There is a difference, an important difference, between layers that are created by the community through an LCP contest and layers that are purchased business-to-business. And that is this, that you can create more NFTs, more lot ownership tokens for the business layers if you want as a business owner. You have that flexibility. With LCP, you have whatever is decided in that contest is how many tokens you have forever, right? So that's one thing is and maybe, I don't know, maybe we should have a little tag for which ones are, business layers and which ones are LCP layers.
That'd be a good idea. So that just the overall community knows exactly what they are.
I don't know if it matters, man. Like, who cares?
And just for the transparency aspect.
Well, it's important for people who want to really, really get heavily into lot and ownership and stuff, because we're going to eventually have an internal marketplace where you can purchase lot directly, probably with Matter, I'm imagining. It hasn't been completely fleshed out yet. But when you get people making decisions on whether or not they want to buy something, it's really important to know how hard of an asset it is. Can it get diluted later, or can it not? That's the reason it's important, I think.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
VKB, what do we got? So while writing in a post, I'm getting a message. Content too large, max length 100,000 characters. I have inserted 3 or 4 pics with a little description about them. I would say that your pictures are almost certainly what's causing that. Photos can be, there's a size limit. I want to say it's 10 megabytes, and it's not per pic. It's for everything, all the pics all the images that you upload. So you might try downscaling them if you know how to downscale an image and to make it a smaller size, or removing one of them to see if it goes, if you take some of that data away. So try to keep it under 10 megabytes and you should be okay. And all right, that's caught up on chat. So that's the other way to make a layer. Are there any other ways? I don't know. You could probably, like, if you were like a company with some development budget, you could even probably white label the entire Den platform if you wanted to and figure something out. Oh, there's private layers. That's what I was thinking of. So you have the ability also to have a layer that nobody can see. I'm in one of them, 2 of them. And it's stuff for, like, if your organization, I can't talk. If your organization needs a forum to organize thoughts and talk about things, and you want to use Den, but you have things like an NDA, and it's like business conversation that you don't want to have public. And maybe you don't want to participate in the tokenomics and the economy of Den. You just want to have a little useful forum for your specific club, and you want it to be private. You can do that. Those exist. You can have a private layer. It doesn't show up in the layer list. It doesn't affect the economy. They are not competing with the public layers at all. But they have their own layer. They have their own little private thing, and like it's another type of layer, and it's useful.
Is there a reason to have it? Like, what's like the pitch on why I would do that as opposed to like having a Slack or having a Discord?
If you let's see. Well, because you can have a private Slack and a private Discord. That's the question. Basically, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't use the voting, the evaluation system to determine what your community prioritizes as easily in those platforms. There's polls and there's tools for that. But if you prefer to use the system where the energy score determines like everyone's priority, I've found that useful for prioritizing. Okay, how important are all these? And I'll do a different one for everything, and people can vote on that.
Well, that's actually pretty neat.
And if you wanted to do that without it being public, like let's say literally you want to make a decision with your business partners about, okay, should we do X, Y, or Z? Here's why, and here's our proprietary data that we've collected that we think we have an edge by using that applies to each situation, and you have that all out in the open but private, and then it can be weighted and it can be voted on. And let's say you have 50 people in that conversation, it can all be in the same thread, and it comes out with like some sort of prioritization of what should happen. That's pretty abstract. I tried to make it apply to many different things, but that's my answer, I guess.
Okay, that just sounds like a poll to me. But like a poll where you can use energy to vote instead of but you don't get do you get paid out in these private layers? Exactly. No. So then like I'm using my energy on something where I don't get paid out, which is weird as well.
Yeah, well, you also don't see people participating in a prediction market in those layers. You see them literally just throwing a couple of energy here and there to like, move it up or down, that kind of thing. It's more like it's more centralized focus to where everybody already is on the same page and they already do know each other, maybe in real life, to have a place that's an option.
Because I love that for like stuff that I do, but honestly, like, and you kind of touched on it at the very beginning. What I would be missing is a way to either pin like something at the very top or an events page. We'll be like, hey guys, like this event's coming up. Like we need to make sure that like we got a show coming up on this day. We need to make sure people are coming out. Here's the link to it. Like if I had one or both of those things, I'd be like, yeah, this is 100% for me.
So this is I'm sorry, I think I just interrupted you there.
And then the other thing I think would be really fun is if I had a way to also make it part of the payout of it. Because then we're getting, the bigger I grow that community, the more payout that layer is going to get. And with layers like, look at 80% of the layers, 80% of the layers have little to no interaction. Very little like actual like consistent interaction. Like a small group of friends that consistently use a layer is going to have more interaction than like the music layer probably.
Yeah, and I guess this is applying more to things like, for example, there's a fellowship private layer where Fellowship of Dragons, we have signed NDAs with the company so that we can discuss things as a community that maybe isn't public yet, but we have a forum to do that. That uses the same systems that we're used to using on Den and stuff, but it's just not a public forum. Or if there is like a Den internal layer that's also private for you to just talk about things. Like you might, for example, have a discussion that involves a particular user account, right? And you don't want that to be a public conversation because you need to make objective decisions based on some things, and you don't want it to be like, you don't want to pick on people publicly. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff like that. So there's uses that aren't mining and they're not like involved with the economy, where okay, let's all have the same accounts so that we know who each other is because we're on Den, but let's just put it in a private layer,
Okay.
right? And that private layer isn't going to replace something like Discord right now because we don't have chat yet. We don't have some tools that are required. And something you said actually, I think I hadn't thought of it too much, but we could actually put any token or make a token to go on to Den if we had like a prioritized reason to do that. That you know, we've got so much to do, so it's probably not right now. But in that private layer, you could have a private economy with your own token if you really wanted to. I don't see why that couldn't, like engineering wise, I don't see why it couldn't work. You know what I mean? So maybe you don't participate in the Matter stuff, but maybe you have a private layer for like I don't know, Shiba Inu fans, and it's all secret. And you have your own little, everybody earns Shiba Inu, you know, or something. I don't know. You could do whatever.
I understand what you mean.
It's Legos, dude. This is all just Legos. You can do all kinds of stuff with it.
Is there a way to like make a layer, but for you to have a reputation high enough to post, you have to essentially your account has to be approved by like the layer owner? Those lines. So like that way other people can see like what we're talking about and stuff like that, like whatever if they want to. But for you to like be an active member in it, you actually have to be a member of the company. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's something that could be done. It's not right now. I don't think that the rails are there right now. But you could have something, for example, like the first thing that I'm thinking of is you could add a toggle in the reputation settings of layers that just says is owner. You know, so if you hold if you hold a token, then you can do that. And if not, you can't do that. That kind of thing.
If I could just give lot to people that are like, basically, I was thinking about it for like my improv group is like, if you're an actual like performer, you get a lot. So you can post and do those things. But like, I love the idea of like crowdsourcing show ideas. Like, hey, we want to do this themed show. I'm going to leave it up to the internet to decide if we're going to do what kind of theme we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever gets those points win.
There's a bunch of stuff that I've been trying out that are kind of workarounds for the way an official system would work. But I've even, you know what? Let's do a quick demo on external boosting because I can talk about this along the way. But basically, I have the Gainesville layer, and one of the things that I'm doing with those tokens is I'm giving them specifically to people who support the event series that I'm running. So only those people will be able to vote on things like when should John's improv show be? You know, where should it be? That kind of thing whenever we do that episode.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a way of gating access. It isn't saying you can post or you can't post. It's saying you can propose and you can vote on proposals, right? You have the power to propose something, and then everybody else who has one of those tokens has the power to vote on that thing, and nobody else does, right? That's how layer governance works.
So your governance area is almost like having a second smaller forum within the forum. In my mind, it kind of works like that, where it's like, hey, there's this smaller one talking forum that you can only participate in is if you have lot. But everywhere else, people can comment on the show they saw as much as they want. And what works that way, what works nicely that way is that way I can pin and be like, hey, these are the priority things that we need to talk about. Those are in the governance layer. Everything else is funsies.
Yeah. So we don't have pin post. We need pin post, I think. The closest thing to a pin post we have is the description of a layer, which isn't a pin post at all. I would love to have pin posts. It seems like that's something we'll do. Probably one of the sooner things that we might do once we have like quality of life features added. I was going to say something else that I've done is I've used a tipping system. Since we have a field in there where you can put information that only you and the person you're tipping can see, you could use that to buy shit from people. Like you could have an event page, for example, and then you could directly pay with Matter for a ticket on that event. You know what I mean? And you could just, right now, I've done that with people by just that I know, by saying, hey, tip this account, and then fill in the memo to say for ticket on this show or something. And I'll have that in my list of tips and all that. But let's talk about sharing is caring real quick. Let's talk about the Gainesville layer. And so this is what I was going on about. I'm doing a show in Gainesville. This is where I live. And this is one of the reasons that I think this is not the color it usually is. My apologies for that.
We are still 3 people faces instead of your screen.
Oh, excellent point. Excellent point.
I'm trying so hard not to move my head so I don't go out of the screen. All right, great.
No, you're good. You got all that. Oh, stretch out. You got room now. Okay. So yeah. Here we go. Now that it's on the screen for anyone that's watching, here's a show that's happening this weekend. It's Saturday. I'm super excited about it. We're going to sell Den merch. We're going to get normal people on Den. We're going to get some feedback. You know, we're going to see what we see.
And it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I am on the side, and in my own businesses, I am also investing in this technology, other than just working with Den and, you know, being on the internet all the time, which I like to call a job. So what we're doing is we're using Den in this other business, this unrelated thing. And we've given it a budget for the year, and we've said, okay, we've got this much money per show. We'll try to do 12 of them. Maybe we'll end up doing 10, depending on how it goes month to month. And so let's just do what we're good at and hire a bunch of local bands that are talented, and we have good working relationships with them from the past. And let's do all of it about Den this time. And we'll just keep doing it about Den, and we'll let people use Matter to buy beer at the shows, and we'll let people use Matter to buy merch, and it'll be amazing. And now we just want to do this thing called advertising, where you let people know about it. So this is the closest thing we have to an event page, which is just a post in a particular layer. We have a Gainesville layer because I made it. It's a business layer that I bought. It did not go through LCP. So I can arbitrarily create more tokens if I need to, which now that I think about it, is it Wednesday? Yeah, I really need to for the show. Yeah, so the boosting feature, in a nutshell, allows you to enable this right here. I'm a random person who has a Den account, and I'm probably going to go to the show, or I know somebody who is. My friend has asked me to help them advertise, and they've said, go to this page and hit the share button when you're logged in, and you'll get paid out if somebody uses your share link. What that means is you click on this button here that says share. It's at the bottom of the main post. You click share, and it says link copied. Now you can share that anywhere you want. It is just literally a link. I'll put it in up here on the bar. It looks like this. Can we read that? Probably not. Yes. Yeah, whatever. So that, if I were to go to that link that I just copied, it's going to take me back to the same page, right? This is where I was. The neat thing is I have put Matter into this page. I've put Matter into this post that can be extracted or mined by anybody who wants to help spread the word. So this is the way that I'm distributing points, free money to people that they can then use at the show. I'll be accepting it as a private business at the show, and as a way to like sort of bootstrap new non-crypto regular people into Den. So when they share this, let me go to my account and look at my boosts, right? When they share this, they're going to be participating in this boosting schedule. So I've got 4 days. I've put 100 Matter per day, except for prorated stuff. And every single day is a different period that people get to try to earn some Matter from advertising. And I can pull this down. Let's see what this one looks like. Let's see if we have some data in one of them. So some of the earlier ones tend to perform. It takes a minute for people to get on the ball. And this is day 3 hasn't even happened yet. So let's see. I've got 3 of them here. What's going on? Is it one for each? Oh, those were not even related. I was on the wrong page. I tried to say guys and gals at the same time. Did you hear that? Gals. So here we go. This is the one I wanted. This is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So every day up to the show, it's 100 Matter per day, and people in Gainesville can send it to their friends, and they can say, hey, check out this post. And when they click back, you see these numbers here? They get a share of the Matter that I put in. It's like a better way to pay for advertising, right? Instead of giving it all to some company that'll do the work of figuring out who might like it based on data they've mined, you can give it to the community that's actually going to come out in the first place, or that actually like probably helps you advertise your band or your shows anyway because of your friends. Sends it to them instead. And they get a cut based on how well they do. If you send it to a bunch of people that don't care and they just ignore it, you don't get paid out. If you send it, for lack of a better word, targeted to people that you know are going to be into some cool local show that's got psychedelic improv music, then they're probably going to click on it and you'll get paid for that click. So you get paid, you get matter rewards for these external boosts based on how many eyeballs you get to look at the event page. So today, tomorrow, the next day, I'm getting my friends to do this, and I'll see who gets to grab some matter, right? And if they do, and they show up at the show, they'll be able to use it, and it's basically free money for them. You know, they get in free, they can use it at the bar, they can use it to tip out the band so the band gets paid more, things like that. So that's a poorly explained external boosting system. But the important part is whenever you see a post that has the rocket next to it, and let me flip from my custom colors to the normal real quick. If you see a page that has a rocket next to it, it'll look like this. There's internal and external boosts, red and blue rockets, or if it's both, it'll be purple. I think red must be external because that's what I have, blue being internal. So if you see the red rocket, that means there's matter in that post for people who want to think of somebody who might be interested in it and show that post to them by sending a custom share link. And again, I can't emphasize enough, it has to be this custom share link. You cannot just go to the top. I mean, you can go to the top and copy it and send that URL to people. But it isn't going to get you rewarded. If you click the share button, you get the same link, but you get a fancy little reference ID that lets the system know exactly who to pay out when somebody uses that link to go get the information. So the more people that use your link to reference this page to get the information, basically, is what you're incentivizing here. That's the theory. We'll see how it works. If a bunch of people show up with money at the show with matter points, then it's been successful.
I didn't even know we were doing that for this show.
Hell yeah, dude. So share this to somebody in Gainesville that cares, and you'll get matter points.
I don't know anybody that cares about anything.
That's the tricky part.
No, I'm just going to keep constantly changing my IP address and then create new accounts and then click on it. Here it is. Den experiment. Here it is.
Wrong button.
Level 1. Hit the share button at the bottom.
What are you doing over there?
I'm trying to figure out, okay, copy link. And then I go post it somewhere.
Yeah, you can text it to somebody that you know. You can create a QR code out of it and slap that on the inside of a bathroom stall. So somebody's staring at it while they're on their phone, they can scan it. You can, you can be creative.
I got a real creative way to do this. I don't know if it's going to work. I might get a lot of hate, but let's see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, no. Why is that how every single time John does something, it starts?
Oh, boy. Here we go. John's got an idea.
So I just realized your post is literally a money button.
My post?
Oh, dude.
No,
it's at the bottom here. Yeah. I had an issue where, no matter how much I showed somebody where to click, they were like, I don't see it. What are you talking about? Which is fine. You just glossed over it because it's just a little share button that's there. But it's literally, no, this is instructions. I couldn't figure out how to explain it. And if you notice, I just explained it, I think, poorly. I'm not happy with the way I explained it. And I haven't figured out how to articulate exactly in a simple way the advertising potential that is in this external boosting feature. So I wrote it up here as well. 3 easy steps, fam. Here we go. Make sure you're logged in. Links to the Android, Apple desktop, link to the desktop. Don't have to have that. And then I say, go to this post over here, please. It's the one that says share. So click the share button. It's the one that says share. And I got a picture of it right up here. Looks just like that. And then,
I was wondering why there was a giant share button.
Yeah. I just don't know how to make it more completely obvious. It's this is the actual button. It says share for a reason.
You know what's probably happening?
No.
Somebody's probably clicking the button and expecting it to pop up with a place to share it to. Because on every other platform, when you hit share, it usually pops up and has like
Maybe it does in the app.
photos.
Does it in the app? Where's my
I
app?
don't know. Let's find out.
I can't share my app on the screen, but I can talk through it as if we're on a podcast with no video. So I'm opening up my app.
That would be a radio.
Mm-hmm. And here we are. I'm going to click share, and it's going to wait. Where's the button? Am I logged in?
I get copies of the link probably.
Oh, I'm on the wrong post.
Share.
Hey, look, I even said, "Where's the button?"
No, when you hit share, I'm gonna show mine real quick. When you hit share on the app, it does pop up and give you.
Oh, okay. No excuse
you can
then.
do.
All right. Answered the question before I could get to it. Thank you.
That's what I do.
Okie dokie. So there's the share button. And that only works if, like, let's say a business who was investing in a show was also investing in paying for advertising.
Yeah.
The cool thing about that as a business is, and this doesn't work on the external boosts, but if it's internal, which means it just makes it show up higher in a layer for visibility, you can get that money back if it's received well. Like 85% of it you can get back. So if you boost a post and it's like quality content also, and it's applicable to that layer, it's not off topic, you can get a lot of that money back as an advertiser. So that's pretty useful as a business as well. All right, back over to here, not back over there. Back over to where? Back over to right here. Now, we haven't gotten any questions, dude. There's so many questions.
There's so many down there at the moment today, but
I'm glad that I went through them and answered them personally. But we did say it was demo day, so that's why we spent all this time on demos.
Yeah, today's a different kind of episode.
I'm going to save the layer management discussion for later on, just in the interest of time. And let me see. Let me refresh. I just added. Don't have to. Okay. Let me see what we got. Let's see if there's something I haven't responded to. Yeah. So we talked about that already. Cool. We did that during the evaluation discussion.
I just want to point this out to John real quick. Get with that I am guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He was wanting to give you humor lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, then yes, I will.
It was in one of our other comments sections about it.
Yeah, I posted in board, I think. And
yeah.
Lot in there. Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, hey, John, I'll definitely tip you out some humor lot. So you definitely should get on that.
What do I need?
Yeah, I am for I am is has been very helpful. I'm glad that you're back. Thank you.
Super active too. He's there all the time.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay, he doesn't. Okay, hey, here's my name.
Here you go. He'll probably see this, or they will probably see this.
Like, I don't. Hey, all right, man, let's go meet at Starbucks. And
oh, right. No, right now. So there's not. You're right. There's not a DM function. There's not a chat room right now. But we are going to get layered chat. Every layer gets its own chat room. We are getting DMs.
I can go post an I am for I am, and like I can go post in the humor layer. Hey, I am for I am. This is me.
Hit me up.
Just go find one of his posts and respond to it. Like,
it's funny. You mentioned the
shoehorn that comment in there.
You mentioned the meeting up somewhere. When Dave originally started, or at least somewhat started thinking about crypto stuff, I think you were in town for some reason or whatever, and you called me and you were like, hey, I hadn't heard from you in months. I mean, it'd been a while. And you were like, hey, meet me at the coffee shop. And meet me at this coffee shop in 2 hours. I was like, all right, whatever. Yeah. So I go there and he's just like, he's being like weirdly sneaky and shit, like a secret agent. And he's like, we're going to buy some Bitcoin. I was like, okay, why does it sound like we're buying drugs? It's like, we sat down and he like showed me how to buy a Bitcoin, like a face-to-face transaction with this one little guy. It was cool. I about that the other day.
Bitcoin first time in Gainesville at like $300, I think, at a coffee shop.
That was definitely with me.
I didn't know you were there.
Yeah, you brought me along. You hit me up out of the blue. Of course you don't remember.
It was important. Bitcoin at $300 was important.
I obviously remember it, so there's that.
Yeah. There's a post.
The guy that kept saying logged in on the emails on the computers. I remember that too.
There's a discussion. Sorry, I'm going to plow through the end of that conversation and carry on.
You could do this. Keep going.
Just because I realize it's 10:40 already. So there's a discussion about downvote brigades, and that deserves a conversation that I don't have time for right now. Except to say that I hope some of the demos that I did illustrates how we have mechanisms that are relatively effective at combating that, and it doesn't harm as much as it used to the payouts that a creator gets. And it was, it was another reason to push tipping so quickly as well, so that if there's somebody who genuinely has great content, but you're concerned that they're not going to get evaluated up enough against other stuff that period or that day from other layers, you can just tip them to make sure they get $5. Like if you're busking on Den, which you can totally do. I know somebody in town who's got a buskers guild where I was just thinking, man, these people need to busk on Den and tip out with matter, that kind of thing. Separate conversation. So yeah, like we see this, and Hyperion Frequency has a suggestion that I haven't read yet about negative voting and how to solve it. There's suggestions of getting rid of the incentive pool for negative evaluations, which I think I kind of disagree with, but I haven't thought about it thoroughly enough and read the whole proposal to make that call. So I just want to say I'll get to that, and I might get to it again next show whenever we talk about specifically, what did I say? Community and layer management. That could probably be the title for next week's.
Yeah, that's probably what it will be on.
So I'm going to skip that for that reason for now. Foost, also very active. Thank you for your activity. Social media network effects. Yeah, so I responded here a little bit, basically saying, yeah, I agree with you 100%. The more people that you know in real life that are also using Den, whether you know them physically or they're an internet friend, the more valuable Den is to each of those people. And you really, and this applies across the entire new landscape of cryptocurrency and blockchain and stuff, you've really got to make yourself rediscover value and sort of rethink how you think of value, rethink value, right? It's not just money. There's value in the genuineness of the conversation. There's value in the efficiency of a system, things like that, that will, like if you're, I was about to use a terrible example, so I won't. But basically,
Don't pull a me.
What Foos is talking about is you get more of your personal friends, and then now it's not just like you've got more of a reason to use it. Not more of a reason. What am I thinking? Like, it's just fun, right?
It's more enjoyable because you've got people to like communicate back and forth with.
Because then you can say you can send your friend a link to a post that you posted on Den, and then they're already going to have an account, so they can evaluate it or they can tip you for it or vice versa. You can have conversations on Den, frankly, without having some overlord of a system filtering you, right? Which is what happens on a lot of other sites. So yeah, every person you bring in is more useful and more valuable to Den as a whole and to you as an individual, I think. So we had talked about that a little bit. There's a discussion there. You can read it if you want. It looks like I got to pop back in as well because I did not follow up on everything. Wow, that was last night. I forgot it was so long. Cool. So let's see. Next, we have Peter Tom or Guitar Tom 31. Suggestion for layer owners and their freedom to ban users without any reason. This one I may have read incorrectly. I just haven't read your reply here yet. So let's do that now. The comment was about I'm banned and I can't vote or make a post in a few layers, and I don't know why, and I think that it's not good at all. So this, I do think that the person misunderstands reputation a little bit, and I hope that we explained it a little bit today, but you get automatically banned by the system for things that maybe an individual did not ban you for. I understand the way how someone can be banned, but my point is a user can be banned without any reason, and that is something wrong in my opinion. So my suggestion is that if you, group of people, wants to ban someone, okay, thank you for saying, because I was thinking like, sometimes it gets lost in translation. So if a group of people wants to ban someone, they need to write to Den admins a reason and proofs of that reason, and then the admins will approve or disapprove. Please think about the solution, because now a group of people can ban someone because they don't like his nick or hairstyle, and I think that's not good for Den. Thanks in advance. I see what you're getting at, and your suggestion would probably have some result. I don't know what it is, but it's probably very not the way that we're going to do it on Den, because just the concept of, for example, Den admins, there are founders, there is a company building Den. There are people programming, coding the features that we're talking about wanting to change and things like that. Those are not the admins. The admins are you, Peter Tom. You're an admin probably, right? If you have any participation in LCPs and any of those have won, you are now an admin in that layer that you won. So everyone that's an admin has participated in a contest and distributed that admin power to where now you can't just ban someone. What you can do is you can propose changing the ban threshold to where it can be more or less, or you can propose what was I going to say? How someone or what someone gets banned from doing if they get a low enough reputation, and that reputation is crowdsourced, and what's bannable in one layer is maybe not bannable in another layer. So I would say, like, this is probably a non-answer to you, but I would say probably if you get banned from some layers, use the other ones. If you're banned for no reason, I think it's a little bit more difficult to ban someone for no reason. When to ban someone, you have to have several independent accounts block someone first. So if I block you just because I don't want to visually see what you're saying in my layer, and a bunch of other people in the same layer does that, then it's an indication that overall maybe that's the wrong layer for that conversation, and they've maybe tried to tell you that by evaluating down and you didn't listen. And I don't mean to be mean. I'm not accusing you of this. I'm just giving a hypothetical. And then you can't post in there, or maybe you can post, but you can't put a picture in there because of whatever reason. So you're going to get banned from stuff. I'm going to get banned from stuff. I can't post a video or a photo in the red pill layer anymore, for example, right? Which is fine, whatever. I misunderstood what red pill was. Everybody across the internet, I think, misunderstands what red pill is at this point. A lot of that's Reddit's fault from that freaking layer, but whatever. So if you get banned from something, it's not personal. It's supposed to be objective. If it's personal, and if there's a way people are getting around that system that I just described, though, that's probably an issue that we can address. I'll see if I can notice any examples of that, and if you see them, bring them up.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, nobody's just able to click a single button and that person is then banned from a layer currently, right?
Not to my knowledge. You used to be able to before we had the layer governance system in place that we have now. You used to be able to unban someone at least, but I know you could ban someone because there was only one or two users that were the admin. So we got rid of admins, and now everyone's an admin if they have lot. Okie dokie. What else? Deep dive into the random layer every week. Yeah.
Talking about how John accidentally made a pretty awesome segment.
Yeah. I think that's great too. We didn't do it this week because I had an objective, but that'll be, I think, probably next week after. Because next week we just have an objective. We have an objective for next week, but it should be just like quarter of the beginning chunk. Yeah, less long.
I appreciate that somebody liked my deep dive into a layer idea.
Yeah.
I also is that Rob Zilla?
Yeah, I put that picture up there. Though.
Okay.
I just had it, so I've started just throwing pictures on there that are in somewhat vaguely, maybe somehow relevant. In this case, it had fireworks, and I was like, I like it.
It's
and
it
was the only picture I had that was like it was just, I love this photo because Rob's personality is that, like, this is Rob's personality as a showman, and I love it. I've
never met this guy, but I feel like I should.
When we do Den experiment number 6 or whatever, I want to do this guy, DJ Robzilla, and John Branch improv comedy show. So he can be your DJ before and after or between if you want to do a couple of different sets or sketches, and then Rob can DJ, and we just pay you both money, and then you can also make matter at the same time.
I would be so on board with watching John do an improv, not a stand up, an improv.
It's all great.
I don't know. I've started pitching things to people like that when I get to talk to them. Like, I'll just pay you money, you do this, and everyone's happy, right? Because I used to go into like, hey man, there's this new platform, and you should use it because it's pretty cool, and I would confuse everyone. So now I'm just like, hey, we're throwing a bunch of shows. We would like to hire you to perform, And also we're doing it with this new app. And if people tip you with that points, you get extra money. Sound good? And people way more often are like, oh yeah, that sounds great.
No, that's a good idea. Please tell me more.
I've also come up with 2 more additional segments for
Oh
us to do
no! Oh no!
today. So whenever y'all are ready for John's other 2 segments, which I think both of you will enjoy, I'm here. I'm here for it.
I'm gonna have to scoot on this one at about 11.
Okay, yeah, I got to steam myself out soon too. So let's scrub through the rest of these because I think we can get to them. Hyperion frequency. I decided last night I'm going to start. There's a lot of syllables. I'm going to start calling you Hyperfreak because I like it.
I like that.
Hyperfreak.
So Hyperfreak asks how stable our current operation for the platform is. And I didn't expect that question, but it's really interesting because there are a lot of things that are built kind of like haphazardly, hoping it'll work. And if it falls apart, the creators are just like, oh, well. I don't think that's the case with Den. And I think, and I spelled this out a little bit, and this is all my opinion, but I think that we're lucky to not need venture capitalists to build something because we don't have somebody directing us with their own, personal profiteering kind of direction. Now, that doesn't mean there's not a place for that, and that doesn't mean there's not a place for bringing in, like, for advertising effort once site-wide governance is out and we feel like, okay, go. I'm not against even hiring out influencers and stuff. I don't know, but I think that we're very stable, and that I explain that as best I can here from my point of view. But coming out of Dragon Chain as a spinoff company that has access to that brain power, the IP that they have, their patents in the United States, we're able to operate in the USA. We're able to leverage the DragonNet US patented utility token to use the blockchain systems. We're able to use Ethereum and Bitcoin without fees until somebody specifically wants or needs to take a token out to like Ethereum or something. They can do that, but you don't have to. There's a lot of unique things that you can do because of where we're built. So I think that we're on a really good foundation, and I don't think that we're like financially. I've never heard any I've gotten zero reason to believe that we're in any danger of just being like, oh, didn't work. So I hope that helps.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
When you post and stuff, how often is your reputation updated? Is it updated every time?
That's a good question. I don't know what the period for that is. It's either daily or it could be real-ish time because it happens whenever you get evaluated. But I think
I realize I can't.
It requires.
I can't post in debt governance, and I got to find a way to get enough rep so I can post in there.
Gotcha. You can reply.
Yeah,
and I think that the votes on your replies help.
That's what I did. Is I went back to Caitlin's thing, and I was like, smiling Caitlin's thing, and I was like, I'm gonna start replying to things. Yeah, this is cool.
There you go. Exactly.
See what happens?
And then eventually you'll be able to post in there, probably, right? Yeah. That's what was the question again?
That was it. How often is my rep updated?
I don't know, but if I were to wager an informed guess, I would say that because it requires the consensus to be applied before it determines if your reputation is helped or harmed, then it would probably be per period, which is per day right now.
Makes sense.
I think.
One more question.
Yeah.
Your boost thing when you pay out for shares.
Yeah.
Right? How often is that updated?
Daily.
So at the end of like a 24-hour period.
Yeah, it's based on Zulu time, I think. And if I go to my
right now, it wouldn't be
payouts, I don't know if I've shared something from this account or not, but it would show up on my daily payouts under the day, of course. And then in here, I haven't looked at these in a long time, so forgive me. You've got layer rewards, which come from your lot, from owning those layers. You have post rewards, which comes from your post, your reply rewards, snapshot lore. Where is the boosted? Now, it's in here somewhere, man.
Yeah. Would you be able to tell how many? What I mean is, like, would you be able to tell how many people have clicked on like a shared link for something?
Oh, yes, yeah, totally. So if I go to my boosts, no, that's not real time. I think.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's all updated daily. If I had to give you an answer right now. I'll ask. I'll find out. Yeah. So, this updated since last time. So I'm wrong. Look at that.
What do you mean since last time?
Since 1 hour ago when I looked at this last.
Oh yeah, it was different.
Yeah, there were fewer pies in the pie chart.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I wonder what happened. That's interesting.
somebody saw us and was like, "Oh right, let me click on that, share."
Oh right.
Could have been John.
I blame John.
Cool.
Things.
So you got probably one of these 13% slices. Your competition is somebody's got 40% of that daily payout of that.
Well, somebody was at 50%, right?
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that 40% went down, and somebody's cutting into a slice.
Yeah, I wonder who.
Do you not see who that is paid out to?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I don't. Probably not.
I don't think so. If there maybe. I mean, I don't know if there's a reason to. Let me see. Buttons. No,
so you
no
can
buttons.
know who to incentivize. So if you have like one person that's like doing really well, you can reach out to them and be like, "Hey, like, can you promote this thing more? You're doing a great job." Like whatever it is.
Good point. I don't know.
Knowing who you're paying out might be a good idea. And then that way also, if there's somebody that you don't want advertising your thing,
Yeah, I guess it depends on what the thing is, right? Some things eyeballs are eyeballs, and then some things you don't want certain people for whatever reason. I can see that. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that. I don't think that you can see. You can see 15 clicks. You can see 4 unique people.
I think it'll probably show when you go to pay them out. When you go to pay them out, it'll show who you paid. You don't probably anonymously send money to people because that sounds dangerous.
No, that's pretty good. I mean, that's the idea of Den, is that you don't have to give up your personally identifiable information to participate. That's part of the thing.
Yeah, but your username isn't your personal identifiable.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, it's not. I don't know.
So it'll probably when you do your payout at the end of the 24-hour cycle, it'll probably show who you paid money to. Right?
I think I have one that has ended. Let me check that. Pull you up big on the screen for a second.
Hello, face. I know you have to go soon, David. I'm really good at.
You got 1 minute, bro. You can dip out anytime you need to. Gravity crab.
You're muted, also.
Of course I am. I say it's fine. I'm not worried about it. I'll just scoot whenever I need to.
I'm almost done. I just wanted to check this now that it was brought up. All right, let me go into here. Oop, wrong place again. I do that a lot.
Yeah, Gravity Crab. Did you see the thing I told you to look at?
Yeah, of course.
We'll see if I get in trouble or not.
Maybe a little. I'm not sure. Let's see.
I think it's totally relevant and in the right layer.
It looks like no, you don't see. I don't think we came up with a reason to need to see, but it's an option. It's the information is there. Even if we wanted to do it retroactively for things in the past, it's all on chain. We know like everything's on. This is the blockchain thing. It's like, if you need to. So we could talk about that. Yeah, we can bring it up in like the Den layer, open a discussion like Caitlin did in governance. If you feel it's something that you want to get other people's feedback on, and if there's enough consensus with the community, we can throw it into the prioritization list for development and see, okay, where along the line can we make that change? But right now, I don't think you can see.
I'd like to not have like a giant payout to like iDiddleKid 666 or something. You know what I mean? Like coming from my account, like I
don't share content about diddling kids, man. Just don't do it.
If the username of the person, promoting my event is something that I don't want to be associated with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I just don't.
But the reality of humanity is that you're always going to be in a room with somebody you don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think what you're saying makes total sense. But
yeah, I also think it's worth discussion though.
Yeah.
Just because I don't have a good answer for it doesn't mean that somebody else won't. That's the whole point of discussion. Is like I've got some answers and I can answer some answers, but there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, I don't know, man. Might have to talk about that. I have no idea.
Yeah, I feel like my solution isn't the solution, but it should just be something we're aware of. Like, hey, like we should be able to monitor just to make sure there isn't something sneaking up on us that blindsides us at the end of the day.
I'm gonna have to skip the rest of these because it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll do a rapid fire one. I'll say I think maybe this is a good idea once we have a bit more popularity. Right now, it's got a lot of layers we haven't looked at yet, so maybe in the future. Street Meat asks, is there any issue with the metrics page, or is this supposed to happen? I've noticed on some days that my lot and some layers actually yield negative matter. I have seen that show up. I don't have an answer for that, and I was supposed to have figured that out by now, so I'll redouble my efforts. I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to yield negative matter, but I'll check. Dragon Chain Huddler. Can we dedicate a month to matter? It's a long time. Price, rewards holding it. Bitcoin had something like this maybe. So not only can you create financial matter.
We could do, I think we can do like a month to matter, but like one segment every time. You know what I mean?
About
like
matter. Is
2 hours on matter only.
Okay. This is actually a good idea. And we can roll this into, I don't know about the month, but we can definitely roll this into a part of like next week or something, because there's a bunch of cool stuff about matter, and we can talk about the token itself actually, and stuff like that. So, yep, we'll put that on the slate. That's not a bad idea. I don't know about a month, but maybe.
No, probably not a full month, but having a pretty good evaluation of it would be a good idea.
Like to get a month, like there's the standard for getting your own month is pretty high, is what I'm saying.
I think so. We just do like a segment on it each episode for a month.
Oh, so like a little like that's actually kind of a good idea.
This is the What Matters corner where we talk about matter, and this is what matters and matter today.
Okay.
Like, hey,
like
matter's
that.
gone up by like 50 cents.
Yeah, and I can talk about how I'm using it Saturday, for example. Like next week, I can talk about how successful or unsuccessful that was with the token itself.
Yeah, you should
How
tell people
people
in
use
Den about that. You should like let people in Den know like the cool thing you're doing in the Gainesville layer.
It is cool, isn't it?
It's pretty sweet.
So there's 2 more hours for you, man, on a Wednesday morning.
There you go.
It's amazing how much time we can plow through there. Thanks for sticking with us for a little bit, Gravity Crab and T Swift or Die. Thanks for everybody in chat that chimed in. I got to turn it off too because I got to go to the bathroom at this point. I have been drinking coffee after all morning. So,
And a little bit of a different show this morning, but it's just to try to get as much information that's usable out there to people as possible.
yeah, and we'll see what we can cut out or at least timestamp for those demos. John, you got a show tonight again, right?
Yep, got a show tonight. I'm sure you both will miss it, but that's totally cool.
Listen, let me explain before I leave. I went to the site when we were on last time. You were like, you don't need a ticket. Oh, you have already got one. You registered one last time. It's fine.
You do need a ticket.
Go back and verify that. So I went to watch the show, and it was like, this event is sold out.
Yeah, you got to have a ticket on Eventbrite.
I
It's
had
free.
one, and he was like,
Free.
"Oh, the one from
You
last
can
week."
use
will
the
roll
old
over.
link. The link.
I never
It should
found
be. It should be.
I
a,
tried to
Zoom-
find that link.
It should be a Zoom link that's in one of your emails.
Well, it sounds like you've got it together, John. So that's tonight, Wednesday night, and I'll try to zoom in. I can't promise that I can. It's Wednesday night, and that's always date night for me and my wife. I really try not to fuck with date night. It's the
Having
one it's during
on
the
your
week.
having my face doing make 'em up funny things.
Well, that's what I'm
for your
thinking.
date is
Great
not
date night
ideal.
So here's what I'm thinking. We wrap this show, right? I hop in the family van. I go to the grocery store. I get some great stuff to grill and smoke while she's at work, right? Do it all up. Have dinner ready when she's home from work. Probably late. She works hard. And then we have Zoom thrown up on the big giant television in the living room and an improv show ready to go for her at 8:00. So we have dinner. We laugh, spit it out of our mouths together, watching John on TV. That sounds like a great night, right? That's a date.
That's adorable.
It's an hour,
I mean, it involves John, so it's already like,
yeah.
but
It's an hour-long show, also. So feel free to leave as soon as you want.
just feel free to bolt the minute you're over it.
Yeah, no, it's whatever you guys want to do.
Did I miss one of VKB's questions? Let me refresh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you answered all of them. The only one.
There was a question about matter payouts. He says.
Oh, I thought we were going to just talk about matter another day. Do we ever get them unbanned from those other places? By the way,
I don't think we can. So we were able to get Hyperfreak unbanned from Advice because that was actually a mistake in how it was implemented once it won the LCP. because that was like the brand new layer, and it was just what it was. There was that threshold I was talking about was set to 0, not 13.
Yeah.
And so immediately it was banned. It might have been somebody else too. I don't know, that didn't show up to ask about it. VKB, I don't see in here. I will talk about Matter next time. I'll scrub through this. I don't really have time to right now, but I'll go through this and make sure that I didn't miss it somewhere, as I'm doing right now, and I don't see it. But sorry I missed it. I do that sometimes. Oh, there's 2 more pages. I'll look while I'm here. No, I don't see it. So either put it up again, ask it again next time. We'll talk about Matter next time anyway. But thanks for chiming in again. VKB, to answer Gravity Crab's question about your account, I don't think that we can unban your account because it was banned as per the system's rules and stuff. If you, before realizing that there was a reputation system, if you had gone around and spammed every layer and they all evaluated you down or blocked you because they didn't want to see the off-topic messages, and then you became banned because of that, it's possible that you might have to burn that identity. I've done that before whenever I just screwed an account up so much. Because in this situation, it's like, yeah, you earned those scores, or you can do what John was talking about, and you can start replying. If you're not totally banned and you just can't post and you can't like do a certain action, you might still be able to reply to people. And if you can just start participating and replying and building reputation back up that way. Or maybe,
or email
support.
Support at Den.Social or whatever the fuck the email is,
Mm-hmm.
and like talk to them. We all know you're a cool dude. We've seen your face on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I'm not going to that. So that would be a governance decision. There is a way. So we could put up a governance vote, for example, especially later, like next month, once we have the better system to do this, we could put up as a community a vote. And then literally everybody on Den gets to vote for it. And if it passes and then you get unbanned, that's an administrative action that everyone collectively agreed on. And that's fine. That's exactly how it should be done, I think.
Yeah,
so
we can all collectively as a society be like, you know what? We forgive you and love you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what Den is all about.
That's kind of the idea, right?
Groups coming together, email Den so you can bother them because they don't get enough email. And just, remember peace, love, prosperity, do what's right. Wash your dishes as soon as you're done using them so you don't get like grease stuck on them. Don't forget to drink water. Just here.
I know I mentioned the advice layer. I wasn't sure that we were going to monologue the advice layer right now.
That's just John. That's just John's sign off. I haven't been doing the dishes thing. I've been doing it good, but I forgot a couple.
There you go.
All right, y'all. It's that time. We'll catch everyone next week. Same time, same place. This has been fun. Thanks for all the interaction, all the comments and stuff.
Yeah, it's been nice seeing the comment section have a ton of stuff. There's a bunch of people just chatting here. It's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna go fix some people broken stuff.
Go fix computers, man.
That's what I do.
I'll let you know how this stuff turns out. Bye, y'all.
See you.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now?